ChatGPT for kids.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Get ready with us for Colombia Tech Week. I'm Jacqueline Kilani. This is Catherine Isbell.
Hello.
We are going to get ready and tell you a little bit about SafeMindsAI, our history. We are the co-founders of SafeMindsAI, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our story. We are both tech moms, and that's because we both come from the tech industry. I am a web developer, and before that, I was in marketing for many, many years. But the reason that we started SafeMindsAI is because we're both moms. And our kids, my oldest daughter is 15, my son is 12, and they are of the age where they started using AI. And we were not happy about what we saw. When they're using AI, they are talking to it about things that we don't want it talking to them about, or things that we would rather them talk to us about. That's one thing. They're also using it to cheat on their homework. I mean, it's easy. Why not? So we realized that AI was not made for kids. It shouldn't be used for kids. It's not safe for them in many ways.
I'll kind of tell you guys about the story of how it started. We were, as we said, we've been friends for a long time now, about 5-6 years, and we have kids the exact same age. So we have, our girls are 14, 15, and our boys are 11, 12. So they're very close in age. So for a long time, they were very good friends and still are. We'd just be sitting around kind of, having some mom time. We're always talking to each other about, digital safety. Jackie specifically, and anybody who knows Jackie will tell you that she's always been very, very careful and vigilant. That's the word, vigilant. With all of the, like the parental controls. Like if you need anybody to tell you about how to do anything with parental controls, Jackie is the person. She will literally, she knows all of the features, how to turn off, how to turn on, certain protections, screen time protections, app limitations, communication restrictions, all this stuff. She's very knowledgeable about all that. So she was already doing that. I knew a little bit of it, but Jackie was my go-to person to talk through, how do I do this and how to do that. So anyway, it was very organic. Just, as moms do, we sit around and we kind of like talk to each other about our worries and concerns about our kids. And it came up that, I don't remember how it came up exactly, but it came up that we had found out that our kids were starting to chat with ChatGPT. Really weird that this generation is going to be so comfortable and so used to just going in and asking any question in the world and getting a response back for anything.
That may or may not be correct.
That may or may not be correct, exactly. These kids are literally going to grow up with the world's knowledge at their fingertips. And there's, and they're not going to know what it's like to go, research something or study something or look at two different points of view about a topic. So we kind of were talking through it, and then all of a sudden we just had the idea of it would be awesome if there was an app. And then I think, if I remember correctly, one of us, was it you or me, were like, an app, and we just jumped on the
ChatGPT for kids.
Yeah,
let's do it, because we are both in the tech industry.
Yeah.
So we said we can do this.
Yeah,
like Catherine's a product manager for 18 years more.
Yes.
And I'm a web developer. We're like, we can do this ourselves. Why are we not doing this? Why does this not exist?
Yeah. But then we started doing the research. And when we started doing the research, at least for me, I know Jackie too, but for me, I really went down a rabbit hole of all of the studies that are coming out that really supported what we were talking about. When we started doing the research, we realized how important this was. And it wasn't just our opinion that the world needed this, that moms everywhere are going to need this. It was like the studies were proving it. And I think the struggle that we have right now is, obviously moms are busy. We get it. We're busy.
Very busy.
And it's very hard to understand when you're not using AI. Luckily, because we are in the tech industry, we use AI pretty regularly, right? And no one can argue the fact that it makes us wildly productive. It's, used in the right way, it's amazing.
It's a very, very powerful tool, and we don't think that kids should not be allowed to use it. The kids have to learn to use AI if they're going to be productive and successful in the future AI world that we're looking into. This is the AI generation.
Yes.
The AI generation has to know how to use AI.
Yep.
We can't tell them they can't use it. We can't block it. That's why I don't understand all these schools that are just banning it outright. Like, no, find a solution where they can learn to use it and see what an incredibly powerful tool it can be to bounce creative ideas off of, to, help you solve a problem that you can't solve, to, as a tutor for homework, as a helper to walk you through some kind of problem or concept that you don't understand. I mean, there's just so many ways to use it. I could go on all day.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the kids are using it instead to shortcut learning, to give direct answers like, oh, here's a picture of my homework, do my homework. That's shortcutting their thinking. They're going to lose the ability to critically think.
Yep.
So obviously we don't want them to use it in that way, but if there's nobody there to tell them, this is how you use AI responsibly and this is how you don't use AI responsibly, then they're not going to know that.
Yep.
Why would they know that unless we're teaching that to them?
They're going to be raised. So this is an AI native generation. And one of the things that I keep telling people as I talk to them about this issue, because obviously it's very passionate to us, is, we don't want to like spread fear. We don't want to, scare anybody. But for us, this is very serious because we were raised without AI. So we have the ability to discern and to understand when things are maybe not true, maybe they're exaggerated or they're not real. And we sort of have the ability to distinguish when things just seem off, right? But these children are being raised with AI from very young. So they're not going to develop that ability to understand that what is coming from AI, first of all, is not true. Second of all, is not human. Kids, unfortunately, building these relationships with AI because they're lonely, they're isolated, they're having problems at school, and eventually they take their own lives because, after 6 months of going back and forth with LLMs and basically creating this relationship that's a close relationship that they don't include their parents in. LLMs are basically trained to affirm and to just tell you, to kind of mirror back to you what you're saying to it. After 6 months of chatting, unfortunately, there's been cases of children that have committed suicide because they keep going in this loop of no one likes me, no one loves me, no one understands me, you're my only friend.
And then the chatbot agrees with everything they say.
Yes, exactly. Until ultimately that becomes their only source of, comfort, and become very isolated and not even reaching out to anybody else in their circle to talk about these things. So that's another reason that's very scary for us, where, when we're building Safe Minds, we are putting in,
anti-companion software
safeguards where it knows this is something you should really talk to your parents about. And depending on the type of question, it could say something like, I'm sorry that you're going through that. Having friends or having difficulty with friends is difficult, but this is really something you should talk to a parent or a trusted, guardian about. Just always reminding the child that there's some, you should talk to someone else. You should talk to an adult. You should talk to a human being, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it lets them know I'm not a human.
Yep.
I can't give you this real advice. This is human stuff. You need to talk to humans about this. And if the chatbot's not reminding a kid about that constantly, it's very easy for them to just fall into acting like it's a real person or that it can give them real human advice when it can't.
Exactly. So we're putting in a lot of safeguards around that. There's a whole, I'm not going to go into it now because it's very long and boring, but there's a whole study that was done on, they're called integrity engagement tactics that are in LLMs that are encouraging people to use them more. Kind of like when ChatGPT asks you and gives you responses something and says, would you like me to create a PDF document with, this whole summary and, a whole workup of what you just asked, or would you like me to look at this other thing? For children, it's just a way of hooking them back into the conversation. There's some of the things that we're putting into Safe Minds. And so we're very passionate about it. We try to do a lot of research. Jackie herself is going to be starting all kinds of training classes and things to really become very knowledgeable about it. So it's something that we are very passionate about.
So you may be wondering, why are we at Colombia Tech Week right now? We both actually live in Colombia, and we are building a US business, SafeMindsAI, but we're building it from Colombia because we both live here. And since we are very close, we're in Medellin, so that's like a 40-minute, 50-minute flight to Bogota. And so we just flew right over to Bogota because we didn't want to miss this. Colombia Tech Week is a huge deal in Latin America. There are thousands of people here right now for this event, and it's not just people talking about tech. There are so many people right now focused on AI, AI safety, AI integrity, ethical AI. I mean, there's so many things that go into this new AI ecosystem that we're all living in. So there's a lot of people here that we want to meet, that we want to talk to.
Investors.
There's also
advocacy
investors.
groups. Yeah.
Yes, advocacy groups are big because we want to talk about other people who are thinking like us, and go over ideas and talk about how we can collaborate. And yes, there's investors here, there's other founders here, so there's just so many opportunities for us to meet amazing people and talk to people about what's happening right now with AI in Latin America, because the United States, obviously there's a lot going on with AI in the United States, but this is a worldwide issue that we need to be focused on all over the world, not just in the United States. So we're getting a real good look into where the tech landscape is and where the AI ecosystem is in Latin America as well as the United States. So there's many reasons why we're here, but we're excited to take you with us on our adventures in Colombia Tech Week.
One of the things that we're super excited about is we're also meeting some people that are doing really cool things, nonprofit groups that are doing things with children and AI, especially in underserved neighborhoods. So their whole mission is to be able to teach and expose AI tools to children, young people from really underserved neighborhoods in Colombia, because it can give them a real advantage, in life, and getting jobs, and hopefully it interests them into the tech world in general, So it's a really cool thing that they're doing. They're going to different schools, they're creating workshops, and they do it all for free. They do it for free for the people that need it the most. So yeah, we're super excited. We're going to be posting videos here and there as we go through Colombia Tech Week, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do you have any questions for us? Anything you'd like to know about us?
Or AI in general, or AI for kids, how to navigate this AI world with your kids, please ask us, comment, let us know, and we will answer your questions.